so excited to be here. You know what? There's one thing that I love more than anything else in the world. You want to know what it is? Hanging out with my friend Suzanne here. You guys are in for a treat because today we are going to be chatting about social responsibility. You know, a lot of times when we talk about being able to charge enough for our services, what's the point if we're not making a difference in the world? Yes, we're making a difference with our tutoring services, but what are some other ways that we can impact the world? And today, that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to see if you're up for the challenge. Do you want to join us in making a difference, not just in students' performances in school, but a difference for the entire world that really is going to make an amazing impact? So I have here today Suzanne Davis. If you don't know her already, she is an amazing online writing tutor. She helps kids with academic writing, scholarships, all that great stuff. And she's also a coach here at the Online Tutor Coach. So you guys help me welcome Suzanne Davis. Woo!
Hi, everybody.
So glad that you are here today. We've also got some other friends of ours inside of the group. We've got Beth in the house, and we've got Robert in the house. And Robert is our king of calculus, you guys. And if you would like us to answer any questions today, feel free, type in who you are, where you're from, what you do. Ask questions as we go along, and we share information about how we can make an amazing impact on the world. So we are chatting all about today social responsibility. Now, I know, Suzanne, when you started your online tutoring business, you kind of thought that you already had like a green business started.
Yes, I did. And I put thought behind it and everything, with where I chose to go with my website host and all of those things. But I realized as time went by and I was doing more research that I actually was doing harm to the world. And the internet does cause digital pollution, and so does our technology. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not just doing good things for the environment. There's a negative side to what I'm doing. And then, the next thought was, well, what can I do? How can I change that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we move online, we think we're already doing the environment, we're doing something good for the environment because we're driving a lot less. Even our clients, right? They're not driving to us as well. So whether we're driving to our clients are meeting us somewhere, or our clients are coming to, our house, we are making a social impact. And that is a good thing because we are getting less pollution in the air, which is fantastic. But I think there's a pollution of doing business on the internet that people have never taken into consideration and don't know how it impacts the world overall. So I know that you ended up actually researching your website to see how clean it is. Can you give us some information about what happens on the internet with our websites and online stuff and how it all works? Can you just share a little bit more?
Sure. Okay. So the surprising thing to me was that the internet actually runs on these data centers that run on fossil fuels. So the way messages and information is received is it comes from these data centers, which get their energy in the form of fossil fuels. Then it's sent, across the world, under the ocean and everything there. And that whole process, is emitting into the world.
Recording in progress.
All of that other carbon emissions. So it's the same as, or the impact of the internet is the same as the impact of the airline industry. And that alone just shocked me. I could not believe that, because I always kind of think of the car companies and the airline industry as these people that are not taking into consideration the environment. They are much more. I just watched on Nova. They're really trying for electric airplanes and doing a lot of great things. And the automobile industry is doing that. But I always kind of judged people And I thought, well, I'm not doing any harm. And then finding out that the main tool that I use in my industry is causing that, and part of it is websites. A huge part of it is websites. And so our websites, we have information, we have content on it. The more content we have on it, the more people that are finding us and coming to our website, all of those searches and all of that content takes up energy. And we're using those data centers to do that. So I found this awesome tool, and it's called, I think, the website carbon footprint. I have it saved here, so I can show people what happens.
Yeah, can you share it with us?
Absolutely, I can. Now, I'm being very vulnerable because I was shocked, considering I did green web hosting and all of these things that I thought were good. I was shocked at how, quote, dirty my website is. And so I'm being a little vulnerable here. It's almost like if I were to take pictures of, how cluttered my office is. Like, I'm really vulnerable and exposed at this point, but it's worth it so that you can understand the impact too. All right. Just a second. That's the wrong one. Okay. All right. So this is the website carbon calculator. And to use this, you would just type in your website URL, and then it measures that to see what the effect of it would be. Right. And what's really cool is that it doesn't just measure this with the numbers like, oh, your website gives off this much carbon dioxide, CO2. It actually shows you like how many trees worth of carbon dioxide is, how many automobiles and things like that, which I think is really easy for people like me to understand.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you just simply put in your website address. And I even put mine in, which is www, didn't add the HTTPS, and that worked as well. And then you just hit that calculate button, and then all of a sudden it takes a few, seconds for it to come on up. Came up right away. Awesome.
Yeah. See this great big fuchsia thing popping up? Yep. I know it's going to be bad news. All right. This web page is dirtier than 65% of web pages tested. Yeah. All right. So 1.42 grams of CO2, carbon dioxide, is produced every time someone visits this web page. Okay. All right. At first I was like, okay, that's numbers. I'm not, as much of a number person, but and that's just a little bit at a time. So how bad is that? Well, even though I have website hosting, that's a green web host, they actually use some data centers that use fossil fuels. What they do as a company is they then look at the measurements of how many fossil fuels they use, and then they invest them in companies that are tree planting companies and other ones that are addressing the problem. All right. So here I just had my number with one person. Now it looks at if 10,000 people, a little bit less or minus, visit my webpage, which I hope so, because I want to be that big. I want people coming. All right. 60.63 kilograms of CO2. All right. So now this is what I love about this website. Okay. So now I'm starting to picture it. Okay. So that's the weight of, a certain amount of sumo wrestlers, 1.14. I don't know. How many bubbles? 183 billion bubbles.
Whoa, that's a lot of bubbles.
8 trees, So my webpage there emits the amount of carbon that 8 trees absorb in a year. All right. If I were to drive an electric car, 2,299 kilometers, that's how much energy my website is using. So it was really revealing to me to find that out. And the next thought I had was, okay, what can I do about it?
Right.
You know, what can I do to lessen this effect, to reduce it? So what I wound up realizing was trees was a really good way to address this problem, by planting trees. Every mature tree absorbs 480 pounds of carbon dioxide a year. So that's doing more than balancing out the damage that my website's doing. So until I figure out, you know, all of the technical expertise to actually make my website cleaner, you know, planting trees is a really good way for me to counteract the damage that is being done.
Right.
And then there's just the habits that I have on the internet of watching videos on YouTube, you know, and, you know, if you're watching videos in high definition, it's much worse than if you're watching them in standard definition. So that all these little things that I do with my business and with work are making this problem worse. And I'm just one of those people who's like, okay, if I'm doing this much harm, I've got to find a way to make it better.
Right. Absolutely. And don't feel bad. So like you're already using like green hosting, right? You said?
Yeah.
And so that's with green hosting. Without green hosting, so I checked out my 2 websites as well. And I had 10 for my online reading tutor one. It's the equivalent of 10 trees. And the online tutor coach was an equivalent of 13 trees. So, you know, it's when we start thinking about that, it's like, okay, so then my goal has to be at least to try to plant 23 trees to absorb that, right? To be able to counteract that and be able to make an impact on the world that I want to be able to make, because I clearly don't want to destroy the world more with doing business online.
No.
And you said there's like really some simple things that we can do. And I know for me, like one of the things I've always done is I always actually download, when I'm putting videos online, I always download the lowest version versus using the HD. Because it takes so much time for it to be able to load, but also now like, oh, okay, well, that's something that I need to now take into consideration why I want to continue to do that, because it's going to help with that carbon footprint. And then another thing as well that I've learned through the research that we've done is just even sending attachments and how we send attachments, that if you send people an attachment through a link versus actually uploading that attachment and emailing it to people, that it's actually going to save on the carbon dioxide that's released through email and email blasts and those kinds of things.
Yeah. And email is, you know, when it's all added up together, it surprised me how much that effect was on the environment. I was just shocked. It's like, we look at one email without those attachments, that's going to be about 4 grams of carbon dioxide. Whereas we add that attachment and it's 50 grams of carbon dioxide. And again, that sounds little, but we're talking about a whole world of people on the internet.
Right.
Doing that.
So, I mean, this is just really eye-opening, because as an online tutor, we don't really think about how our tutoring business impacts the environment, but now we're being able to have that brought to light today and be part of a solution. And there's some different things that we can do inside of our business that really are going to make a huge impact. Now, on Tuesday, Suzanne and I did an amazing webinar that you can check and replay. And I'm going to grab the link for that because I know Elizabeth can't share it. We're having problems with being able to be live inside of our I'm going to grab the link here, live inside of Facebook today. So I'm going to have to upload this later for our Facebook viewers. But I'm going to put that link right inside of here. This is that replay. And we share different things that we can do in that webinar to make a difference. But if we were just to take a look at like 3 things, what are 3 of the top things that we can do to have the greatest impact with our tutoring business to be more green?
Okay, to be more green overall, I would say the first thing is really look at the energy usage you have on your devices, right? So on our computers, if we dim our monitors, most of us have it at 100% brightness. If you go into your settings where it just says display or a monitor, and you change that from 100% brightness down to 70%, you're suddenly saving up to about 20% of the energy that device uses, which is huge.
So I'm going to show you guys right now what that does. So right here, I just typed into my search is brightness, and here you can see it's at 100%. I was working outside yesterday, so I always have to turn it on up when I do that. But let's say I move it down to now this as my brightness as I'm working. Joanne, that is going to make a huge impact. Yeah, you can't see it.
You're not sharing the screen.
I'm not sharing the screen for you. I'm sharing it inside of OBS.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So that I was just wanting to show you guys online because I already knew you knew how to do it. But in case you're wondering, well, where do I do that? How exactly do I do that? You can just click that there. You can also click this button that says change brightness automatically when lighting changes. And that will automatically do it for you. So now it's brought it down to like 50% because it's pretty bright inside of my office right now. And that can help. Now, because I am inside, I am doing this this live. I'm going to bring it back up so that you guys can see us pretty clearly. But that's just an example of like when you're working with your students and you've got, pretty good lighting, you can turn that down and that will save a lot of energy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And to have really good lighting, just add another LED light near your computer.
Why LED versus other types of lights? That's another thing that I've learned over like the last couple of weeks.
Well, the LED is using up less energy. You're saving a lot by that, and you're getting the same brightness, really, or even better brightness.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. So that definitely will help. And that's what I'm using actually right now for my lighting inside of my office so that I can be lit up while I'm talking to my students. I'm not looking like I'm in the basement, which I am, like in the dark, but I'm nice and lit up for them so that they can see me. So, and those are all LED lights. So you can still be lit up really well with LED lights, and they're going to be taking up less energy.
Yes. And trust me, I have bad eyesight and I still manage with that 70% brightness.
Yeah. And I would say most of the time when I'm in my house, I don't need it. The only time I need it to be up to that brightness is if I'm outside. That's the only time I need the brightness to be up. Mm-hmm. Every other time I can turn it down and I can work just fine without any problems. The only other time is if I'm like actually recording live on something and I want the screen to be lit up well for you guys. That's the other time that I would do it. But other than that, there isn't any other reason why I needed to have it on that brightness. And so it's kind of like turning the lights off at night. It seems like one of those simple things that we can all do. Don't leave the lights on, turn them off when you leave the room, those kinds of things. Well, don't leave your brightness on, right? And we could also shut off our computers at the end of the day. There used to be I remember you said you were friends with a lot of IT people, Suzanne.
Yes, and they would yell at me if I turned off if I turned off my computer at night, they would yell at me. They'd be like, "Oh no, don't do that. It's going to take so long for your computer to wake up. It's really bad for your computer." And So, I thought, well, they're IT people. I'm not.
Right.
But then, I was looking at this and I was like, oh, that really doesn't affect our computers anymore.
Mm-mm.
So yes, definitely turn it off. If you can go into your settings and set it to sleep after a few hours. If you're going to be away a few hours, things like that will make a big difference over time. Watching things in high definition is really helpful. Also, when you need to watch a video, download it instead of watching it stream. And the reason you're doing that is because you're really only accessing the internet once.
Right.
Over a shorter period of time.
Yeah. And you found a great infographic too, that I think is really cool to be able to share with people. Can you share that with us?
Certainly. Yep. All right.
I just had something pop up on my computer that's showing on up here. I'd like it to go away.
All right.
I do not know where it's on there.
Okay. So this I found on WebFX. They're a marketing company. And for Earth Day last year, they wrote this blog post on the virtual footprint that comes from the internet, ours. Okay. So I thought this was good because I really respond well to seeing things visually. All right. So it explains that your carbon footprint, it's the total amount of greenhouse gases produced by our direct and indirect human activities, one of those being the internet and our technologies. Right. So this is when you look at all of the carbon emissions that come from the world. Okay, so it's 39.9 billion tons. All right. When you put the internet alone, that's 2% of our carbon dioxide pollution. If you add all of those digital technologies we were just talking about, it goes up to 4% of that. Here, this talks a little bit about how it comes about. So the servers, the computers, and the smartphones. All right, those are countries. Here's our internet activities. All right, so see if you do any of these things. Anybody watch YouTube? All right, so 1 billion hours of YouTube are watched daily. Now I know that that's not just us tutors watching that much YouTube. Okay, but that's 6 billion grams of CO2. And that equals, if we were to be driving to the moon 62 times, that's how much carbon dioxide comes from YouTube. All right, with email, it's 306 billion emails per day. So that would be, remember I said the average email is about 4 grams of carbon dioxide. You can add to that with those attachments, that's 50 grams. But it's the same as 12,000 times driving to the moon. Facebook, yes, even Facebook. And Facebook has really made a commitment to using sustainable sources. And, they have this goal of becoming net zero, but they're not there. But even then, it's, if you were to drive 13 times to the moon, Google search, look at this, 7 times. Anybody Google during the day? I was shocked how much I Googled during the day when I really, really thought about it. Tweeting. Okay, tweeting uses up a lot less. It's just driving to the moon 1 time. Texting, it uses a lot less. It uses 3 times.
And just so people know, it is 238,855 miles away from Earth. the moon. I was wondering, like, all of a sudden I started thinking, like, how far away is the moon?
Oh my gosh, you just got that number?
Yes, by using one of our favorite new tools, which is called Ecosia or Ecosia.
Oh yes.
Tomato, right?
Yes. And also that's another thing you can start doing with your business. Using
Yes.
Ecosia.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's lots of great things that we can. So what are some of the things that it says that we should be able to do now, like that will help? It gives us some ideas.
Switch to cloud computing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So companies can cut their carbon dioxide emissions by 50% if you use cloud-based data storage.
So that would be an example of that would be like OneDrive.
Exactly.
Or Google Drive.
Dropbox.
I use OneDrive. I've been using OneDrive for my business since 2012, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Here's the one with the monitor.
Mm-hmm.
Unplugging your devices. So it's not even just shutting down the computer. If you unplug your laptop or you're unplugging the, after you've charged your phones, like taking out that cord and those things, you're going to be saving energy. And then, like I mentioned, downloading videos instead of streaming them.
Such good information. And we found that instead of using Google, that using another server called Ecosia, actually
it is Ecosia. I did look it up.
You did look at Ecosia. She's right. Suzanne's right. The phonics queen is not.
Oh, I'm not the phonics queen. I'm just
no. I am.
I have to.
I feel like I'm the
things.
phonics queen.
Yeah, I was going to say that's wrong.
No, you can't go phonics. Phonics will not always get you everywhere you need to go sometimes when it comes to reading. That's for sure. It'll get you close, but it won't get you there 100% of the time. 70% of the time, but not 100%. So, yeah. So show us, can you show us Ecosia?
Absolutely. Okay. So before I show it to you, it is a search engine. So it's works like any other search engine. You type in those keywords and answers come up, and it makes its money the same way other search engines do, like Google and Bing, through ads. The difference between Ecosia and those other search engines is that they focus on planting trees. So they take 20% of the money that it takes to run the company, and that's out of the advertising, and they do sell things like this t-shirt I'm wearing. Okay, so that just goes to running and keeping the search engine on renewable resources.
Mm-hmm.
The other 80% goes to projects all over the world that are doing tree planting. So tree planting in India, in the Amazon, in Australia, where they just had devastating wildfires, in the US, in California, in the Midwest, all over the world. And for every 45 searches you do, Ecosia is going to plant a tree. So it's just really, really cool. It's something you can start doing today to plant trees.
That's awesome.
That's going to help you. If you think of that website that's killing your trees, that your website is killing trees, then gee, maybe you should switch your search browser. Okay, so now let me show you it. Okay,
and we've got Vivek in the house from India. So welcome, Vivek. Glad that you are here, and this affects India as well. And I think that's why we've chosen the specific things that we featured on, because we have a worldwide audience, and we want to make sure our initiative is in connection with the world.
Exactly. All right. So let me go there. You can get Ecosia just by going to their website, you can access it, or you can also get a Chrome extension. I have the Chrome extension, but it's ecosia.org. All right. You'll notice here, there's this really cute little tree button, and that's how many trees I have planted by searching.
Nice.
Yes. Now, if you're going here for the first time ever, you won't see this because you won't have planted any trees, but you'll see something called sign in. If you click on that, they're going to prompt you for your email, and then they'll send you a link, and then you can get signed in and you can start keeping track of the trees that you're planting through your searches. So I've been doing this about 2 months now. All right.
And in just 2 months, you're able to plant 204 trees.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? That is amazing. And
yes, considering the damage my website does.
Right. I ended up introducing this to one of my students yesterday. I said, hey, whenever we don't know something or we don't understand something, we're going to use this new Google search engine called Ecosia. And while we are searching using that tool, we're going to be planting trees at the same time. He's like, that's so cool. He immediately went onto the tool and he started searching for his things like he normally would, but instead he was using Ecosia. And he let me know the next day. He's like, I planted 4 trees yesterday.
Yes. My students absolutely love it. Like the first time I started showing them this, they were like, and my students are older. I mean, some of them are in graduate school, some of them are in high school, but like all different ages. And they were so enthused because every day they could be doing something that's good for the environment.
Yeah. So Elizabeth is wondering, is it how many searches you've done that's showing up there or actually trees that are planted?
Trees that are planted. Excellent question.
Yeah.
It's trees that are planted.
Yep.
All right. So, and you can get it as a mobile app too. So if you go here all the way to the right, you see those 4 lines. Here's some information about how it works. The About Us, they don't sell privacy, like they don't sell your data. That's not one of the ways that they're making money. And you can also give trees to people. So if you are trying to give somebody a birthday present or something, and maybe it's somebody you can't think of what to give them a tree. You know, I'm sure they'll like it. Who doesn't like trees? I mean, I'm sure there's some people, but most of us really like trees.
Yeah.
Or shopping, you know, buying their t-shirts or anything like that.
So another question that came on up was, does 45 searches equal 1 tree? Is there like a formula to it?
Yeah, well, they said it's about 45. So okay. I assume that means 45 or close to 45.
Okay. So, and the interesting thing is, like in the beginning, it's like the counter goes up very high, very quickly.
Yes.
When people start using it, I think to kind of motivate you to continue to use their search engine.
And then it's, this is a pretty even pace for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just recently went from like 177 to 204. I'm like, wow, she's been searching the internet a lot.
Well, I use it on my phone too. All right. So
now, is it connected? You have the one on your phone connected with your one online?
Right. So it counts both ways. So
gotcha.
You know.
Yeah, mine's not set up like that right now.
Well, you can go ahead and do that.
I know. I need to set that up so it like puts them both in one place.
Oh. Did you sign in with an account?
That's what I'm wondering.
All right, so this is just like any other search engine. I'm typing in the keywords online tutor coach now. And again, you see the ads. You see somebody showing up right underneath the ads at number 1. So, yeah, the only thing about Ecosia is that it doesn't keep track of like your keyword stats, which
Sure.
is why I recommend to people just limit, like set a number. I have a number set of 25 searches, which would be like 5 searches a day, and then wean myself down because I do need it for those keywords.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
so
the only
there's
thing
other
I
times
use
where
it for.
yeah, and I would say like on my phone, I never am doing keyword research. So why not use it all the time?
I know,
It just takes like a matter of just being like getting used to like how they show different things, and once you get used to that, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. The other really neat thing that I actually like about them is they let you know when companies use sustainable sources or they're doing anything like that using renewable energies. So
Oh, wow, that's
I know
cool.
during the webinar, you showed this company, the sock company, Bombas, and how they're a socially responsible company. So I looked them up. I thought, oh, let's see how they are with the environment.
Yeah. Oh, and look at that. It's got a little green leaf there. So how do people get the little green leaf there?
They get the little green leaf by being a company that is greener, and they have more sustainable products.
And it does say you can
So
learn
maybe
more.
it could mean their socks are made from recycled materials.
Right.
It's really about their company, what their company does.
Yeah.
So that's cool because you know what? I like buying things from companies that are green. I really do. And I'll pay more for it.
Right. Because you know that they're being socially responsible.
Exactly.
Yeah. It just has that feel. And so when you click on the learn more, I'm just curious with the Bombas there where it has the green leaf, there is like a learn more button. Is it learn more about how they're green or how
it's
you can...
It's just what the icon means.
It's just what the icon means with the green. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they started doing this in 2019. So this is about why they do that. They share the same mission and they have demonstrated ecologically friendly business practices or supply sustainable products or services. So I wonder with Bombas if it's their socks, the way the socks are made.
Yeah, it could be.
I would have to look into that more.
Yeah. That's really cool. I really like that. Oh, look, it doesn't have the how do I sync my personal counter across devices. Apparently, I need to do that. So that way, all my numbers can be in the same place, and I could just like take a look at the total impact because I think that's really, really cool that we can do that. And and so there's other things that we can do as well, you guys, to be green, and that is to actually plant trees, right? Like we could get out there and plant trees all by ourselves and be able to do that, or we can donate to companies that already are doing that. I find that the easiest way right now to be able to support, since I'm so busy with my tutoring business, I can actually get out there, and I've got a black thumb on top of it. Nobody wants me planting any trees. I'm pretty sure nothing good is going to happen from that. So my dad had a green thumb. He was a horticulturalist. I was born with a black one. But I can make a difference by donating. And so we have found an amazing organization called One Tree Planted. And I'm going to share a video that shares more information about that for you guys so you can see it.
Hey there, we're One Tree Planted, and this is what we do. One Tree Planted, our job is simple. Get trees in the ground. Why? Because planting trees is one of the most important things we can do for our environment. Trees clean our air by absorbing harmful pollutants, filter our water and prevent floods and landslides, strengthen biodiversity by providing habitats for millions of species of animals and plants, improve our health, create jobs, and protect our climate by capturing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. We work with partners in 4 key regions to support their forest restoration projects. Thanks to you, we have already planted millions of trees and are on track to plant millions more. So how does it work? For every dollar we raise, we plant 1 tree. When you donate to us, we pool the money and distribute it across our various projects. Our partners then grow the saplings and send teams to plant them during the rainy season. The young trees are then maintained and monitored as they grow, and we report on the impact generated. If you want to make an impact, we've made it easy. Simply head over to our website, choose a location, let us know how many trees you want planted, and we'll take care of the rest. Together, we can restore our forests, 1 tree at a time.
So that is the organization that we're going to be supporting through our mission is 1 Tree Planted. And as you can see, it's going to help by planting trees all over the world. I'm going to share my screen because we also have, we have a course that you can join where you're going to be challenged to be able to plant more trees, and you can sign up for that. Or you also can sign up for donating specifically to our team. So we have a team here. So far we have raised over $100 with our donations, which means we've planted 100 trees through the donations. And our goal is to plant 1,000 trees and make an impact on our world. I'm going to put a link right inside of the chat there. So if you want to directly donate to the cause, you can do that. Or we're going to have Suzanne share a little bit more about the challenge that she has coming on up for people that they will be able to join as well to be more green with your online tutoring business. So can you share more with us about the challenge that you've put together?
Certainly. Okay, so the challenge does go together with a course, but for the challenge, really the mission for each individual tutor to win is to plant 100 trees. All right. And it doesn't mean go into your neighborhood and local community and you have to plant trees that way, although you could plant trees some way. But the main mission is to be able to do that in 30 days. And then also there's a few other things about making your business specifically green attached to that. So one of the big problems that I've noticed in my business and also with some other online businesses is the actual freebie that we make on our website. The freebie might be this really great looking, well-designed printable. But the problem with that is you can only use it by printing it out, right? So in order for people to use it over and over again, or if they lose it, they have to keep printing this out, which we discovered shockingly that at least in the US, only 63% of the paper is recycled. And that was from the Environmental Protection Agency. And they were saying that like, this is a great accomplishment. So I'm assuming with my email list that maybe they loved my printable and maybe they, filled it out once and they kept it as like a prized possession, or if it wasn't a prized possession, they properly recycled it. But I don't know. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is for the challenge, you have to create a green freebie. You have to create something that people aren't having to print to use. And so there's different ways you can do that. So that's part of the challenge, to do that so that you can include that as part of your business. And then the final piece is really looking at it through your tutoring. Now, one of the most powerful ways that we make an impact is on our students' lives. And so this is looking at, in the course, ways that you can blend your tutoring niche with using resources and educating people about the environment. So those are really the key pieces that we cover in the course, and then also the challenge. So it's going to be really, really fun. We just finished a blogging challenge that people did, and they did amazing at it. Of the 11 tutors that joined, 8 tutors won the challenge.
Yeah.
So I know that we have really motivated people in our group, and motivated people who want to make a significant difference. So as a goal for the entire challenge, we want to plant 1,000 trees. So, and that's 1,000 trees that's going all over the world. So, so we're benefiting people really everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely, which is absolutely amazing. So if you guys are interested in joining us, the initiative, you can join us in 2 ways, either by joining the class and the challenge and being able to make your particular online tutoring business more green, or by donating specifically to our fundraising page and being able to support the mission to be able to take out that carbon dioxide by planting more trees. And through these different activities, you're going to be making a greater impact on the planet. I'm excited about this. I can't wait to see how we are able to make this bigger impact on the world. And, keep doing what you do, Suzanne, spreading this message of hope that there's something that we can do to make our earth a better place. I really love it. And it's an amazing initiative that you've put together.
Oh, thank you so much. There's also amazing prizes for the challenge. I forgot to
That's
say
right,
that.
there are.
So you're doing good, but then also you do have some prizes at the end. Okay, so the first thing is that you're going to get a little badge that you can put on your website. And that badge is going to declare you as the Great Green Tutor Challenge winner 2021. And that's really great because people do look for things that signify that you are a green business, that you are doing things to make an impact. It's that connecting to us with social responsibility, like this tutor actually believes in something that I believe, and I really want to support that tutor. So things on your website like that really add value. The next thing is getting to be on a YouTube Live, Facebook Live with Joanne, like I am. And that's really great because you're getting more exposure as a green tutor. And people are typing into search green tutor. They are looking for green tutors. And then we also have for the winners a certificate. And we also have a really, really cool t-shirt for the challenge winners, signifying that they planted 100 trees in 30 days. Which is incredible. And you can wear that proudly. You can wear it around, and people will definitely ask you, well, what was that about?
Yeah, exactly. It's a great conversation starter, right? And then it
you
leads
might pick up
honestly
wearing that t-shirt.
It leads honestly into the conversation of, so what do you tutor, right? And it becomes that easy conversation starter.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Suzanne, and for sharing your enthusiasm about this initiative and how we as tutors, we can make right what has been made wrong and really do make a great impact. So thanks again for sharing. You guys, thanks for joining us today.